So in today's podcast, I want to talk about mistakes. Mistakes I've made throughout my life in different forms of competition, whether it be poker, basketball, or baseball. So I've read some books, and there's some people I really respect that say, not to think about the mistakes or not to focus on the mistakes. And these are by people I've really respected, and maybe I should listen to them. But my own personal opinion is, there's so much to learn from the mistakes. We've also heard you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And I'm a firm believer in that. And if that is true, then why would we not look at our mistakes and, make sure they don't happen again? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that old idiom, right? And I think if we can look at those mistakes in the face and kind of just plug those leaks, if that's how you want to put it, pop that pimple, however you want to get rid of them. Because for a lot of people, this will plague them their entire life, their entire career. But if you can if you can hate yourself for these mistakes, maybe you can fix them. The first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one. So I think for those people, my approach might be better than the other approach of not focusing on your mistakes and stuff like that. Well, in no particular order, I'm just going to go through some of the mistakes I've made through my life, and some of these are habits. Others are just mistakes, one-time mistakes. And I have a feeling most, if not all of them, are going to stem from discipline mistakes. Most recently is just a lack in patience. Now, this is an obvious one. And for me, it's an easy one to fix. I'm a pretty patient person, fairly. And this week I was playing a game, and this game is Hunt Showdown. I don't know if you've ever played it, but in Hunt Showdown, it's a standoff. A lot of times it becomes a standoff. And the reason is because, the first person to come out of cover is at a huge disadvantage. They're out of cover. And it sucks that that's the way the game is. That's not fun, just a waiting match. And so this week, I've just been getting owned. And the more I got owned, the more frustrated I got, the less patient I became. Now, I think we all have experienced this. It's all so obvious to us, and deep down, we know the issue. We know the problem. And we just get frustrated, and it gets worse and worse. Now we get less patient and less patient. And like I said, I think you guys all know deep down what's going on here. But I'm here to just put a Post-it note on your forehead, smack it on your, lick it, stick it, smack it on your forehead. There's no denying it now. You're fucking up on your patience. And as I said, a lot of times it's going to come down to discipline. Almost every mistake you make in competition is going to boil down to discipline, aka self-control. The self-control to do what you know you need to do, which is be patient. And sometimes I think we have too much confidence in ourselves. We know exactly what we need to do. And this is a little bit of a tangent, a little slightly off topic, but sometimes we just move too quick. For example, if you watch Luka Doncic play basketball, he plays kind of slow. Steph Curry, he plays not as fast. If you watch him dribble the ball, it's more flowy and smooth than it is boom, 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 dribble, 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 dribble. He's not trying to outpace his opponent. He's trying to play within the flow of the sport and manipulate the flow. He's working within the confines of the pace. Like if you try to, like, I think the reason like some people will dribble the basketball so fast is they're trying to, like, they think if they go faster, the defense can't keep up or something. Which, yes, that's true to an extent. But I think this is something that I suffer from, is just moving too fast. For example, like, oh, I have a bit of space. I'm going to shoot the ball as quick as possible before my defender can close the space. Well, you may have practiced 1,283,000 basketball shots in your life. You may have practiced this exact shot 1,830,000 whatever times, right? But you didn't practice it shooting it as fast as you can. You feel me? So when you play this too fast of a pace, it's not natural. It's not normal. You know, most of the time you probably have enough time to just take a normal jump shot, but it's like a panic or it's a frenzied, frantic feeling. And it's a lot of times unnecessary. I think you have more time than you think. I'm not saying to go fucking slow-mo. Just saying, just be normal. Which, this discussion about your time frame of opportunities to, like, do something in sports, whether it be the pitch is coming and you're swinging the bat at the baseball, or you have a space to shoot the basketball and your defender's closing out, or you see somebody in a first-person shooter and you want to pull the trigger on their head, but it's only like they're only passing by a doorway or something. It's like a limited amount of time to react, right? These things, they develop in a funny way. You have this very limited time to react. And I think if you can, for me, when I'm at my finest in these moments, time seems to slow down. 1 second feels like 5 seconds. I think we've all been there before, but it comes and it goes. Sometimes it's just a blur and you're like, why sometimes that moment so fucking fast, like it's impossible for me to do anything. I just randomly clicking or randomly chucking the ball up at the hoop or closing my eyes and swinging the baseball bat. And other times that 1 second feels like forever. And the baseball looks huge as you go to swing at it, or the rim looks huge. How can we get in these moments more? How can we slow the time down? How can we get in the zone? So I'm picturing this situation as right now, me, we are taking a microscope and we're zooming in on this situation right here. Okay, we're looking at it right now. We've just looked at it under a microscope. Now let's turn this wheel and zoom in on this a little further and see, like, what is it that makes time slow down in those moments? And for me, I think it's complete immersion in the sport or game. You're not distracted by anything else. You're not thinking about anything else. You're just having fun. Like, I don't know about you, but some of my best moments have been where, like, I'm not really trying too hard and I'm not trying too little. Like, and it's usually my mood is great. I'm in a great mood. Like, I'm not like frustrated from something or impatient. Impatience is usually like a mood, right? I'm grumpy or I'm hangry, right? Or something like this. And if you're having fun, you're in a good mood. And if you're in a good mood, you're having fun. Like, these two things go either way, right? So another way to put this, instead of just saying, I'm not distracted by anything, this is how we get in the zone, is you're not only focused on this game, but to take it a step further, you're enthusiastic, extreme enthusiasm. So yes, you're having fun, but you're having a lot of fun. Now be careful, because you need to balance this. So it's a very fine line though, because yes, you need to be extremely enthusiastic about what you're doing. You need to be, which means you're having fun. If you're enthusiastic, it's something is fun. It's like the same thing, right? The problem is sometimes having fun isn't winning. Like I've said before many times in the past, do you want to win or do you want to have fun? Because sometimes those are two different things. Because sometimes winning is just being patient, and being patient may not be fun to you. Like my video game I was talking to you about. I don't want to just sit there and do nothing and wait out the other team. That's not fun. But that's the optimal strategy, and that's winning. And I'm telling you, man, I've read so many books on this stuff. Like, I already know where I'm going with this next. You know, I've read this about 15 years ago, and it was saying, like, how do you deal with tilt when you play poker? How do you deal with the emotional roller coaster and getting frustrated and stuff? And their answer was, and I kind of agree with it, and it's the best thing I've come across, and it doesn't really help that much because it's hard. It's hard to not go on tilt for me, at least for me. And their solution was to just accept the game as it is. Like, this is how the game is. In our example, the video game, it's a game of patience. A lot of times, it's a game of aiming and shooting guns, sure. A big portion of this game is just being patient. Accept it. Accept it, and don't try to fight it. Don't try to like change the nature of the game into something you want it to be. That's not what this game is. And you have a conundrum here. You have a catch-22, because you can say, okay, I don't care if I win today. I just want to have fun. And being patient is not fun. So I'm just going to have fun today. I'm not going to wait it out in this showdown. I'm not going to do this standoff, patient bullshit game. I'm going to just have some fun today. Okay, that's your decision. That's fine. The problem is you're still not going to have fun, because losing is not fun. So you're just going to have to accept the game for what it is. There's really no way around it. You just accept the game for what it is, enjoy it for what it is, and, you know, accept that nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. No game is perfect. Everything is going to have fun parts and shitty parts. And just be patient to get through the shitty parts of it. And this is where things like stoicism and stuff are so important. It's such a good security blanket to be a stoic person. And it builds so much confidence inside, knowing that you are unfazed while others are fazed. Which, it kind of leads me to another topic. When I see an opponent like talking trash, he's basically showing a weakness. Because talking trash is a crutch. Like, as soon as a guy talks trash to me, I picture him leaning on a crutch. He's basically saying, I'm not good enough as I want to be, or I'm not as good as you, and I'm going to lean on this to try to help me beat you, because my game is not good enough. It's not robust enough. It has leaks. But if I talk trash, maybe I can get in your head, because my game tree is not complete. And hey, it may be a good strategy for him. It may be a good strategy for you to use from time to time. But if I'm feeling stoic, man, I'm feeling healthy, and he's on a crutch. He's got a broken leg. He's a wounded animal, and I'm smelling blood in the water, you know? And I'm not replying. I'm ignoring. Just, the thing is, it can be a very useful tactic, because we're all humans. There's no way to like completely block that out. Remember what I just said about having fun? If somebody's calling you a pussy, no matter how stoic you are, like, you're having a little bit less fun. Like, I don't know anybody who can not, you know what I mean? Ignore that. To some degree, it's getting in. And you're having less fun, and you're being less enthusiastic, and you're going to be a little less in the zone. And it's funny how all of these pieces of the puzzle fit together. One thing leads to the next. You know, one thing affects another. So I know this was supposed to be about mistakes, but that's fine. I think I got some quality tips on there. To recap, to sum up some of these things, I'm going to ask yourself, do you want to win or do you want to have fun? I think you should always choose the win, because if you choose the win, you're actually choosing having fun. Overall, like when you total up the amount of fun, you will have more fun going for the win. So this may sound contradictory. So let me explain. When I ask somebody, do you want to win or do you want to have fun? I mean that question for a short term, for a single decision. So, for example, if it's basketball, if I pass the ball to my teammate who's wide open, this will result in a higher percentage play. If I shoot the ball, it will result in a lower percentage play. But shooting the ball is funner for me than watching my teammates shoot it. So short term, it is funner for me to shoot the ball in this decision. But this will result in us losing the game. And winning the game accounts for 90% of my fun. Long term, like the big picture, when you total up the fun points, winning accounts for 90% of those points. Are you following me? So if you want to have fun, play for the win. Because you choosing in the moment, choosing to shoot that ball may give you a little bit of fun now, but smile now, cry later. You're going to be kicking yourself. And you're not going to be having fun later. So even if your goal was to have fun, you still failed. Because you would have had more fun had you sacrificed that short-term fun for long-term fun. All right, I think I've babbled on long enough. This turned out not to be about mistakes, really, as much as I just kind of went with the flow of it. To recap, do you want to win or do you want to have fun? Choose wisely, my friends. Because in that moment, if you choose have fun, you're actually choosing losing and having less fun. So the question should be, do you want to win and have fun or lose and not have fun? Because you got to think about the future and how one thing affects something else down the road. Again, to further recap, how do you find that zone? How do you slow down time in those moments where you have a limited window of opportunity to do something, a second to react? How do you slow down time in those moments and get in the zone? And from my experience, it's about enthusiasm, enjoying what you're doing, having enthusiasm for it. And that will kind of slow down time in these moments. And as another tidbit, aim small, miss small. So when you're aiming for something in this moment, you just really zero in on the smallest space, the smallest particle. Really zoom in on that. I think is a good tip I've heard that's kind of helped me become a more accurate aimer in whatever it may be. Aim small, miss small. And lastly, our cliff notes for this podcast. Do not try to change the game. Like, this is how you avoid tilting, is when you try to change the game into something it's not. You're going to fail and you're going to get frustrated. And you're going to try harder to change the game into something it's not. and you're going to fail, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to rage, and you're going to smash your keyboard, you're going to punch your computer screen, you're going to curse, you're going to fucking sweat, etc. Don't try to change the game. Accept it for what it is. And try to enjoy it for what it is. I will leave you off with one last bit of golden wisdom. This is my favorite nugget of wisdom in competition. And it's the old expression. It's my favorite expression. You've seen it in the Rocky VI movie. I think it's Rocky VI. It's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit. And keep moving forward. So think about this the next time you're competing. I'll say it again. It's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit. And stand back up and keep moving forward. This is your opportunity, guys. This is blood in the water. And next time you lose and you're picking your sorry, frustrated ass back up, think about it like this. My opponents probably feel this way too. But if I can pick myself up faster, if I can put myself back together faster, over the long term, I am going to get a huge edge. This is such a good place to get an edge that nobody thinks about getting an edge here. And I got this from poker. When I would play poker tournaments, I would see this all the time. Somebody would lose a big pot, and they would only have a few chips left, and they would just go all in the next hand. Fuck it, I'm done. They'd have maybe 4 big blinds or 4 bets left, and they would just go all in the next hand with whatever hand. And they're just kind of saying, fuck it. They're not picking themselves back up properly. And I thought to myself, man, if I do this and they don't, and I kind of don't give up in these moments, or don't tilt, or don't rage, don't get frustrated in these moments, this is a pretty big chunk of equity and an edge to be had. It may be kind of insignificant in in isolation, but if I consistently do this and things like this, it's a huge place for me to get an edge. So people always think about offense and defense, but they never think about grit and stamina, discipline and patience. People always talk about tactics and strategies. And here on this channel, we talk about that stuff too. But I think it's a bigger emphasis on this channel are the things, the discipline things, the nitty gritty stuff that all adds up, that often gets brushed aside or overlooked. And it's these things that apply to all forms of competition. And that's kind of what this channel is all about. And if you stayed to the end of this, I thank you so much. And please leave a comment. Share some of your own experiences on some of these topics that were discussed in the podcast. All right. Thank you. Bye.